Okay. So here it is. Finally, the long-awaited intro skip tutorial. Now I want to make a disclaimer for this. After viewing this video, you are still going to have a hard time with intro skip. It will never be easy. There will never be a moment in your life where you will get it consistently, because it is inconsistent. It is only consistent in its inconsistency, if you will. So, take this tutorial with a grain of salt. This is what I do to get it as absolutely consistently as possible. And when I say the most consistent as possible, I'd say about anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes is how long it takes for me to get a run going. Sometimes longer, sometimes up to 10 minutes. Just depends on if the game wants to shit on me or not. So, a little explanation of what's going on during this skip. So, what we do is we go out of bounds to skip the Netty fight. And it saves about 20 seconds. So, in the grand scheme of things, not an insane amount of time, but definitely something that you're going to need if you want to get a world record level time. In order to go out of bounds, we need to deload an area. Unfortunately, there's a lot of checks that happen in the game's code to make that not happen. What normally happens is when you get to the area with the log, after you kill the frills that are attacking the thermal bunyip. Once you get to that log and jump over it, a wall of fire will appear, blocking off the previous area. But it's not actually blocking off the previous area. It's totally deloading that area in order to load up the next area. I don't know exactly why they had to deload the previous area, but that's just the way it works. I'm not a fucking coder. So we need a way to make that wall of fire not appear. And it turns out that if either Sly or Shazza are in the previous area while you deload that area, the wall of fire will not appear and you're going to be allowed to go out of bounds. The issue is, how are you going to get Sly and Shazza to stay behind? Well, you can confuse their AI. Their AI is set to walk along a set path. If they start getting attacked by a lot of frills, getting dealt a lot of damage, they will stop momentarily for about 5 to 10 seconds, clear the area, and then continue on. And if you make it to where they do not get to their final checkpoint before the first wall of fire, then they will permanently be stuck at that first checkpoint once they get there. They will not be able to move on. So we have to make it to where one of the two of them does not make it to that first checkpoint. And then they will be permanently stuck behind. So basically, we've got to use the frills that are already spawned in, to our advantage, to sort of make barricades, to block them off to where they can't continue on. And so let's look at the first 10 seconds of the game. There will be a gaggle of frills in the first area. Notice how I'm moving here. Move exactly like I am. Now, you see the Shazza walk right by them. It's because the frills did not form a wall. Ideally, they make a little wall, and they walk up towards, I guess it would be this area. And what will happen is they will totally, smother Shazza into the wall. That's what you want to happen. She'll get stuck, and you'll almost guaranteed to get an intro skip. So when that happens and Shazza walks right through, I'm going to reset. That is what I will do. And notice my movement here. Watch this. Watch what happens if I jump super late. You see how the frills all reset their position? That's because enemy AI, when you jump, they forget where you are for a second, so they stop moving, and they refocus on you, and then they start moving again. So, if you jump way too late, that will happen. But there's a similar issue if you just don't jump at all. Let's see if I... Well, it's sometimes happens, but not all the time. It didn't happen that time. But sometimes when you creep around the corner, the same effect will happen, where they have to stop focusing on you and then focus in on you. So, the solution to that is to just do a fairly well-timed jump around that corner, to where it's not too late to stop the frills. So they're doing what I call a sort of arrow formation, right, in that situation, where the front frill, I mean, there was one in the front, and then there was, like, sort of, it got thicker as it went back. That's never going to work to get them stuck. They need to make a sort of wall. Insert American political joke here. But, I mean, that's what needs to happen. The frills have to build a wall. That might work. No, it didn't. Because sometimes Shazza will shoot her gun and just kill one of the enemies right off the bat and go straight through. Oh well, what are you going to do? Such is intro skip. This is just the way it is. Like I said, disclaimer. This tutorial probably isn't going to honestly help you out that much. But, you know, at least it's some sort of explanation. So, regardless of what happens here on this next one, I'm going to keep going if Shazza gets stuck the first time or not. I was going to keep going so I can show you what happens during the next section of the intro skip. That's good. That might work. They formed a little cup there, and she got stuck in the cup. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So keep your combos you go through here, kill those two in the tree, and do what you would normally do without intro skip. And immediately start running this way, and to the other side of this tree. Immediately come to the other side of this tree. I got lucky. Shazza did get stuck. And because I ran immediately to the other side of the tree, before she actually made it to the checkpoint, she decided to start following me again. So she turned around. So what happens there is we'll jump on the log like that, go around here, and then turn around. And you'll notice that wall of fire is not there, and Shazza is somewhere. She might have just totally fallen off the map. That's sad. So we'll come around here, hop around this fence, jump, do a super late dive right when you're under the platform, and that'll give you the most push whenever you land into the water. And ideally it pushes you all the way into the cutscene. You don't have to do any extra hops. Let's see if I can get that one more time. It is possible for Sly and Shazza to get stuck in the second area, making waiting for Shazza to get stuck in this first area irrelevant. Although you're going to be... the total amount of time input before you get a intro skip is going to be far greater if you use that strategy. So as you can see, I didn't make it to the other side of the tree in time, because neither of them got stuck. So they both made it to their checkpoint, and now they're both subsequently continue on, and you'll see, once we get around here, there's a fire. I want to get it one more time so I can sort of explain the glitchy dive that happens more in depth. I just reached to reset. I'm not doing fucking runs right now. Screw that. Also, every single category on PC, intro skip is viable. Just an FYI. I'll just keep going. See if I get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky. Fairly rarely, but sometimes you get lucky. I don't need a combo right now. I don't think.
That's the last of the frills, Possum.
Something that might make it a little bit easier to get intro skip, but will make it almost impossible to get enough opals, is by keeping a far distance away from the frills that are attacking the thermal bunyip. I don't do this just because it's like impossible to get enough opals. You'll need at least 1,400 leaving this area. But if you just like don't get very close to the frills, well, I fucked that up. Oh, but Sly got stuck anyway. Oh no! Okay, so that was an epic fail. Notice what I did.
Awesome.
I got Sly to turn around. I actually got him to turn around, but I came through so quickly back that Sly managed to hit his checkpoint because I started moving back this way too fast. Don't do that. Isn't this just a great tutorial? So this is the problem with intro skip. It's hard to fucking explain. You know, there's so many moving parts, but it's such a short little brief moment in time. Oh, nice. So yeah, we got Sly to turn around because I came around the tree.
That's the last of the frills, Possum.
So yeah, he's stuck now.
Let's go.
I only have 400 opals, so this obviously wouldn't be a good enough run. So again, we'll go around here, make a quick turn right there.
Look out! Cannon eddies!
Let me at him.
And so for the glitchy dive, what basically happens is, in order to make that little bit of water in the valley over there, they actually just made a massive water section beneath the map that eventually intersects with that valley. And because of that, we can actually dive into the water. Now, that water doesn't cover the entirety of the level, though. If I were to just fall, I'll hit fire. You know, you can't see the fire, but there's fire there. Sort of a fail-safe to keep you from falling out of the map completely. The water doesn't start until pretty far, so you have to sort of jump, glide. Well, don't glide. I don't know why. Don't glide.
We have to get
Don't
to the
glide.
other side
Just
of the
jump.
bridge.
You'll get just barely underneath the level, dive, and because there isn't actually any water there, Ty's gonna do a bite animation. And when he bites into water, he'll gain a ton of momentum moving forward. And it's dependent on how close to the water he was, which is why you want to do it like in the perfect Goldilocks zone, which is just under the map. But yeah, that's intro skip. I guess one last little bit to mention. This is important. When you get into the Battle Bunyip, about 90% of runs, the bridge will explode like that, and there's going to be an invisible platform here for you to jump on. So you'll be able to, well, I guess it's not invisible. It eventually appears, but it takes a while to appear because of that whole animation. But in about the other 10% of runs, that bomb is never going to actually blow up the bridge, and so the backup for that is to just do a ground slam right there, and that'll actually do it automatically for you. Although that loses like 3 seconds and is pretty unoptimal. But yeah, that's the whole thing. There's really not much else to say about it. Just like I said at the beginning of this video, you know, your consistency really is not going to go up that much. This trick sucks. That's just the way it is. But I hope this helps in explaining like my thought process during it and, you know, what's actually going on, because it's pretty weird at first. Some newbie comes into my stream and just sees me resetting the first 10 seconds of the run. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is he just reset 10 runs in the first 10 seconds just walking around this corner, you know? It's pretty confusing to people when they first see it, so figured it was important to explain it. But yeah, alright, that's it. Bye-bye.